Hi, Dr. Kim Bynum here. If you've been following my post on Facebook and on LinkedIn over the past couple of days or maybe over the past week, you've noticed that I've shared a couple of different videos basically that highlight women's penchant for saying, "I'm sorry." Like, for example, I posted a little parody from Amy Schumer, who's a comedian, who's a very funny comedian, and she did this little sketch or skit about women who were on a panel. And these weren't just any women, these were women who were on a panel that were like Nobel Peace Prize winners, scientists, women that were helping children, refugees, or children, soldiers. I mean, these were like these amazing pretend women that were on a panel. And yet, because of the women were just saying, "I'm sorry," so many times during their panel, they couldn't even get their message across of the contributions that they had made. And it's a really funny little 2 or 3 minute skit that just really highlights sometimes how women can just really get a little crazy with how many apologies they throw out in the course of a day. Then another video that I showed, actually it wasn't a video, it was a Pantene hair commercial, the Pantene shampoo and hair products. And I really enjoyed this commercial, and I think it was from maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And it showed the same skit or same material twice. And so what it did is it showed women in certain situations, at work, at home, wherever, and it showed them in these different situations where they would apologize. And in a lot of situations, it seemed from an outside observer that maybe the apology wasn't really warranted. It was just, interesting situations where, like, for example, a guy sits down next to a lady at a doctor's office, it looks like, and he bumped her arm accidentally, and she's the one that says, "I'm sorry." Or there's a lady that's in a meeting at work, and she wants to ask the question, but instead of just asking the question, she's like, "I'm sorry," and then she asks her question. And you see that throughout the Pantene hair commercial in the first half of the commercial. And then the commercial plays all over again, the same exact scenario, but in the second half of the commercial, the women don't apologize. They just they handle the situation a different way. And it's just kind of them being themselves with the, "Sorry, I'm not sorry. I'm just going to go ahead and have this conversation with you." And it's really a powerful message and really highlights how women and men kind of do business differently with their language. And so I posted some facts along with these videos that I shared with you on Facebook and LinkedIn. And so I wanted to reiterate those facts before I talk about why am I having this, why am I belaboring the point about women and their apologies. So the facts are this. The facts are that when you look at apologizing, saying "I'm sorry," men and women, when they feel like they've offended somebody, when they feel like there is a need to say they're sorry, to apologize, both men and women apologize at the same rate, which is about 81% of the time. Meaning that 81% of the time, when men and women feel like they've been in a situation, they've done something where they feel like an apology is necessary or warranted, I should say, they apologize. So men and women, when they feel like they've done something that warrants an apology, they apologize at the same rate. So why is it then that it seems like women apologize more? Because they do apologize more. But the reason that women apologize and say they're sorry more often than men is because we have a lower threshold for what we think warrants an apology. We have a lower threshold for what we believe offends somebody else or what might be considered offensive. So why is that? Well, we kind of know why that is if you look back at kind of how little girls are brought up, right? Where we're supposed to be smart but not conceited. We're supposed to be, stand up for ourselves but not be too aggressive or too pushy. We've all seen the meme on Facebook or on whatever social media you're on right now that says, "I'm not bossy, I have leadership skills, dang it." That in and of itself just kind of shows the message of what I'm talking about, of why women have this lower threshold for what we believe might offend somebody or might require an apology. So why does this matter? Why am I talking about this? Why is this a topic of conversation with me? Here's why. I am trying to speak to you about being an unapologetic salesperson. And notice I didn't say saleswoman, although we are kind of talking male-female stuff here, but I want to talk to you about being an unapologetic salesperson. And specifically speaking, I'm a girl, hello, I guess there's no getting around that fact. Specifically to the women that I do business with, being an unapologetic businesswoman, being an unapologetic saleswoman is an important part of presenting yourself as an equal, as a peer in the workplace. But I'm speaking to both men and women when it comes to being sales people. So the issue is that in the traditional selling system, and we've all grown up in this traditional selling system, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about that as this video goes on. In the traditional sales system, what does the word salesman, saleswoman conjure up to you? If I were just to play a word association game like on TV and I just threw out the word salesman, used car salesman, what word would you associate that? If I just said salesman, what word do you think the normal person on the street would say? Salesman. Maybe they'd say pushy, aggressive. Maybe they'd say slimy. Maybe they'd say sleazy. Maybe they'd even say liar. Maybe they'd say, boy, have I got a deal for you. All of these things that we have come to associate that word salesman with. And yet most of us, in one way, shape, or another in our business life, we are salespeople, right? We have a product or a service, or even if we're in nonprofit or government, we have a message that we're selling. If you are in career transition, which I do a lot of work with, as some of you know, you're selling yourself. So we're all in the business of sales one way or the other. And do we really want to be considered a slimy salesperson? No, we don't. And yet, here we are stuck in this traditional sales system. Now let's look at it from the other side. What if you're not the salesperson, but you're the prospect? You're the person that's going to buy something. You have a part in this. You are what helps create that slimy, pushy, aggressive, scheming salesperson. You're like, no, it's not my fault. Yeah, it kind of is. So let's put ourselves in place where we're the prospect. We're the one that's buying. And ladies, I'm going to pick on you for a minute. How many of you, how many times have I walked into a department store where we know that we're looking for a specific pair of shoes or a specific outfit? We know exactly what it needs to look like to go to some event, right? We're going to some fancy event. We need a specific dress or a specific pair of earrings to go with that dress. We know exactly what we're looking for. But as soon as the saleswoman comes up to help us, or the lady that's walking around, that she's there to ring you up, the cashier, the person that's there to help, and she says, hi, looking for something special today? What do you as the prospect say? Oh, no, thank you, I'm just looking. You lied to her. You just lied to her as a prospect. And then you wonder why salespeople get a bad rap. Because now she's following you all around the store, being a little pushy. She sees you start looking at all the little black dresses, and now she starts holding up all these black dresses. Hey, how about this one? How about this one? How about this one? How about this one? And what do, prospect? You lie some more. Or maybe you mislead her and you go, maybe I like that. How much is that one? How much is that one? And you start gathering all the information. Why? So you can go down to the other department store and see if they've got one cheaper. That's what we do, right? So we get in this game, this traditional selling game between the prospect and between the salesperson. And so I want to share with you that we have created this traditional sales system that requires us to kind of feel a little slimy or yucky as salespeople, but that's not how it has to be. Now at Navigate, the Women's Summit, I'm going to be talking all about this, so I'm not going to go into it here because you're going to be able to hear me speak all about the Sandler sales system, which is the sales system that I use, that I have fallen in love with because it allows me to get rid of that traditional selling system where I feel yucky and ugh, and I can provide a system where both the prospect and the salesperson, saleswoman are on equal playing fields, and we both get to keep our dignity and we both get to be comfortable the whole time. But I want to take it back to this whole sorry, not sorry kind of thing, okay? I want to take it back to that. So bottom line is, for women especially, and even in the sales process, a lot of times whether you're a man or a woman, you get this kind of feeling of having to feel like you have to apologize for trying to sell your product or service or your message, or even yourself if you're in career transition. And to that, I'm putting up the flag. I'm waving the BS flag. Guys, that's not what this is about. If you truly believe in your product or service or your message, and I believe that you do, I believe that no matter what your product or service is out there, whatever your message is, if you're out there and you're beating the streets to sell that product or service, you believe that it actually can solve somebody's problem, or it can change them. It can change their need or their pain. It can take it away, or you wouldn't be out doing what you're doing. I believe that you are a person of integrity if you're listening to this, or if you're in my tribe. And if you're not, keep scrolling, because this message isn't for you. But if you truly believe in your product or service, then why are you acting like you're sorry, or feeling bad for trying to sell it to someone? And what I'm saying, if you're using a selling system, or if you're feeling bad or guilty or sorry when you go to present your product or service to a prospect, then I'm here to tell you that you're doing something wrong. Because if you know in your heart of hearts that your product or service can help somebody, can take away a pain, can solve a need, then you don't need to be one iota sorry. You don't need to be sorry that it costs something, time, money, resources. People know that your product or service isn't free. They know that you're not free if they're trying to hire you. So you don't need to be sorry for those things. It's just that you're stuck in a traditional selling system that makes you feel sorry. And that's why I've been on this kind of rant for the past week or so about sorry, not sorry. Stop being sorry for everything. It's ridiculous. It's not the way that business is supposed to be. Especially if you believe in your product or service, you know that you can help somebody, you know that they have a pain or a need that you can fulfill. There is a selling system that allows you to share your product, your service, your message with your prospect in a way where you both can feel comfortable, can feel confident, where you both know where you're at each portion along the way in that selling process, so that you each feel comfortable, you agree to the next steps in the process, or you stop. And then neither one of you needs to feel sorry, not sorry. Doesn't that make sense? Don't you want to learn more about that? I'm going to have a couple more videos that I'm going to be sharing throughout the next few weeks as we head into Navigate a Woman Summit. You can get your ticket there where you can come and hear more about it from me. I want to thank Sandler, North Florida. You guys are wonderful sponsors. If you're not willing to wait all the way until September 23rd to learn more about the Sandler training system, what I love about Sandler is they have Crash a Class where you can drop in on any Monday. I think it starts at 4:30, but I'll have to find out. I'll put their link so you can find out. They have Crash a Class. They've got so many other ways that you can get involved at Sandler and find out more about their training. I've been through the foundations and the mastery class, and I still go for refreshers. I'm telling you, it changed my life, not only how I sell, but in my personal life as well. I highly recommend it, and I look forward to seeing you at Navigate a Woman Summit, where you can learn more about being an unapologetic saleswoman and an unapologetic businesswoman. Thank you for listening, and I will leave some links in my comments so that you can find me.